Hey everyone, welcome to the Powered by Iron Health podcast, where our mission is to create a community that raises the standard of health and wellness. I do these podcasts to help deliver knowledge, to show you how we operate behind the curtains, how Iron Health operates, and truly what we believe in. And hopefully it gives you some knowledge so you can become a well-educated person on how to get better from an injury, how to get more fit, how to keep your body healthy, and all the above. So thanks for watching. Let's start there. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about resiliency. We're going to use specific topics of resiliency in physical therapy, but we're going to talk about resiliency as a whole and how you build resiliency. So we'll first start with a story of mine of how I became a PT. I always talk about this, but you only pull from your life experiences, so it's easy for me to talk these stories. I remember when I first knew I wanted to be a PT in high school, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going after it. Now, the medical field, just a precursor, is a hard field to get into. 1. 2, it's a lot of school. 3, it's not cheap, right? So there's all these factors that are going to build upon you. And I remember being in college, and I was playing football at the time, telling people, I'm going to go to PT school. I'm going to do this. And for some reason, I can remember all these people saying, oh, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to get in. You're not going to have, the school's too hard. It's too competitive. In my mind, I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are people even saying that, right? And the truth of the matter is, 1, people project their thoughts onto you. And 2, these things need to happen for you to build resiliency, right? If I was there listening to these people and taking their feedback and saying, oh, they're right, would I be where I am right now? So that's like the base level of resiliency. Like, if you believe that you want to do something, you should have full conviction and belief and go after it with nothing in your way. Because people are always going to say things. Things are always going to come up. Like, how do you build that muscle? That's the most important part. Like, how do you create a resilient mindset to get you through to whatever you want to get through? There's also times where you're going to have something that's going to knock you on your ass. And what separates the people who go beyond it versus the people who stay there is the ability to handle pain and just continue to go, right? Because that's truly what resiliency is, right? It's the ability to handle anything that gets thrown at you and come out on the other side. Because if you're not doing that for yourself or through yourself, like, no one's going to do it for you. Like, I'm sure we've all had specific stories or circumstances where you want to get to do something and all these roadblocks are coming up, right? And even for myself, there's be roadblocks coming up in specific things. And I'll be like, am I supposed to do that? Am I supposed to be doing this? You start to question. You start to think, what is really behind this? Like, am I supposed to be on this path that I'm going? And what's really happening in that category is that you haven't had full conviction yet on what you want to commit to and what you want to accomplish. Because if you had full conviction, you will see these things coming at you, these obstacles as nothing but obstacles on your path to getting where you want to go. And that's where true resiliency is made, right? Like, iron sharpens iron, as they say. Or iron has to go through the fire, right? You're not going to become better. You're not going to build. You're not going to become more resistant if you don't have things to have friction against. If it was easy, everyone would do what you want to do. And yes, this is like a big picture stuff, but it's true. Like, you cannot grow without resistance. We've had experiences too, like in Iron Health, as we've grown, where people don't like change. It's a very inevitable part of life, and it's an inevitable part of things. And as we've grown in Iron Health, like, people have had to leave the company because the change that happens with it. But the only thing we're doing through that is building resiliency. And that's okay that some people aren't on board with that. That's a part of life. But for you to be resilient and come out the other side, you have to be able to face that change head on, strong-headed, go at it, and then really how you perceive the things that come up is what makes all the difference. And again, I know I'm rambling here, but I'm talking about resiliency as a whole, and then we'll dive into specific for PT. Like, how do you look at challenges? Are you building resiliency? Ask yourself this question. The next time something comes up in your life, how are you looking at it? Like if you're going somewhere in life and you're getting new responsibilities, or you're growing as an individual, or in your profession, or in your career, and challenges are coming up, do you look at that challenge as something that drives you down, that gets you anxious, that puts stress on you? Or do your mindset, do you change that to be a tunnel to say, I have these challenges so I can grow to the next level of who I am? It's a simple thing, but language matters. The way you perceive things matters. So if you start to think of these challenges as nothing more than just what you have to go through to become the next version of yourself, be a lot easier, right? So like I said, I rambled on there, but if we take some pieces out of that, the first level is you have to have conviction. And now we're going to talk specifically about PT. So when people come through my door at PT all the time, it's a service-based business. We deal with people who have emotions, people who are stressed, people who are in pain. There's a lot of variables that come into what we're doing in the PT field. So a lot of what we're doing is trying to facilitate going through pain to become better on the other side. So one, always find someone you trust, whether it's PT or trainer or massage. You always have to trust that person, and that person has to be there to coach you through it, because it is going to be hard. The better your coach, the better. So that's number one. Have a good coach, have a good person there that's going to help facilitate your recovery, whatever it be. Or if you're just trying to grow as a person, have a good coach or a mentor who's been there, who can coach you through it. Two, you want to make sure you have conviction. Okay, let's talk about if you have an injury. Let's say you have a herniated disc in your lower back and you have pain down your leg. Yes, it's scary at first. Yes, you don't know what's happening, especially if you haven't had an injury. But once you seek care, you have to have full conviction that you're going to fully recover from that. If you don't have full conviction saying, I'm going to get better, that pain barrier, like that will play on you, and that will start to create patterns of fear, doubt, and more pain. So have conviction that you'll get better regardless of what comes up. Once you fully have conviction and commit to it, yes, that will be there, but instead of being a massive thing, you're looking at it through, a telescope. It's getting smaller and smaller because you're saying you're going to get better, right? So conviction. And then another part is making sure you're consistent with it, right? Do not stop. Be consistent and phrase it in your mind that anything that comes up is just making you stronger on the other side. Say, we'll use that same example. You have back pain, pain down the leg. I know that when I go to PT and we do certain exercises that may aggravate it a little bit, it's making me stronger in the long term. If you look at it from that lens, if you're starting with saying, I have this pain, I have these symptoms, and these exercises are only making me stronger, it would make it a lot easier. Because if you don't look at it like that, then all those exercises, you're going to say, they're creating more pain. You're associating the two together. You have to build resilience. It's a process. Like another specific example for PT is someone who has tendon pain, patella tendon pain. When they exercise, sometimes it creates more of a pain response. But the only way tendons actually respond is through loading them. So where's the balance, right? You're building resilience in the tendon so it can be better for the long run. So you're knowing that it's going to be built in the future. So those are like 3 basic layers to build resilience. And truthfully, I can't say it enough. You have to have someone, if it's a life aspect of resiliency, a mentor or a friend or someone who's really there to support you, to push you, to help you build that resilience and to change the way you see things. If it's an injury, have a PT who's there to help guide you and facilitate you and to coach you and teach you that, hey, this is what we need to get better. Start with your mindset, know you're going to get better, be fully convicted to it, and you'll build some resiliency there. And keep on pushing and never give up. Thanks for watching.